Hey guys, it's Brandon Miniman from Pocketnow.com, and in this video we're going to unbox the HTC Inspire 4G. This is sort of a 4G phone on AT&T. We're going to talk about why this is a very important phone for AT&T when we come back. Let's get to it. So AT&T, in our opinion, has one of the best strategies for their 4G deployment. What they're doing is they're rolling out HSPA Plus today, and it's available to pretty much anyone that has AT&T 3G service. The idea behind this is that they're going to launch their 4G LTE network later in 2011 and kind of big time in 2012. The cool thing about what they're doing is that because they're going to have to sort of roll out LTE slowly, there are going to be times when you don't have LTE, and this box is being kind of a pain. So the idea is that you'll fall back to the HSPA Plus speeds instead of, in the case of Verizon and Sprint, falling back to the much slower 3G speeds. Makes a lot of sense so that you can get really the fastest connection anywhere you are. This is vastly different than the 4G strategy for Verizon and Sprint, of course, where they have really 4G and then 3G, but here AT&T has something in between that should be pretty awesome. So let's throw this box over here, and here we go. The Inspire 4G, it's really funny. HTC has rebranded the Desire HD in many different ways. We had the Evo 4G, we have the Thunderbolt coming out, and now we have the Inspire 4G. Don't let them fool you. This is the Desire HD, just with a different logo and slightly different design, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. The Desire HD has a large 4.3-inch display. It's got a fast Qualcomm 1 GHz Snapdragon processor. It's got 512 megabytes of RAM, the latest version of Sense. It's a pretty sweet package. So let's take a look at the Inspire 4G. A lot of AT&T people have really been waiting for this phone because AT&T hasn't had that huge 4.3-inch display phone yet. So here we have a quick start guide. Here we have the device without a little notch to take it out, so you got to turn it over. Pretty heavy, pretty thick, first impression. Let's pull out the orange goodness. Got an HTC charger, no headphones. That's all right. We probably have this already turned on as it was activated and whatnot. And so here we are. The Inspire 4G. This thing is a tank, very heavy. I don't think it's as thick as some people are making out to be. It looks like the battery door has been sort of popped open, and here is the battery door. We can pop out the battery, and this is of size. Let's see here. Here it is, 1,230 milliamp hours. A smaller battery than the Thunderbolt, probably because the Thunderbolt, which has LTE capability on Verizon, needs more juice to be able to run through with the LTE. So let's pop this back on if I could figure out how to do that. Really weird how they've brought over almost the HTC Legend unibody style of design. I may have to pop this back in and cut back in. Okay, got it in, and this should be able to pop off. We've got a SIM card in here, also the micro SD slot. It comes with, it should be an 8 GB micro SD card, yep, and it is a class 2. All right, pretty cool. So we've got 1 GB of built-in storage plus another 8 GB coming on the card, so we've got a total of 9 GB. So down here it says Dolby Mobile Surround Sound, SRS, so presumably better audio output. Let's take a look around the device. We've got an 8-megapixel camera here, dual LED flash, kind of an interesting design. Speaker grill here. This is going to be annoying trying to keep this in. Hopefully it stays in. Volume rocker on the left side. Up here we've got a large earpiece with, that's not a front-facing camera, unfortunately, unlike the HTC Thunderbolt, which does have front-facing camera. Capacitive buttons. Beautiful 4.3-inch display, which picks up fingerprints really well. So we're going to boot this up. And while that's booting up, let's compare it to some other devices here. We've got the HTC HD2, of course another device with a 4.3-inch display. Really missed the design of the HD2. HTC went in the direction of sort of more rounded edges. The HD2 is a little bit boxy, and it's super slender because of that. Let's compare it to the old Nexus S, which has a 4-inch screen. Of course, we have standard LCD over here and Super AMOLED on the Nexus S. And the iPhone, of course, 3.5-inch screen. This thing is not intended to really go head-to-head with the iPhone. It's just such a larger device. Although if you look at it interestingly, sort of the width and the height isn't that much greater than the iPhone, even though it has a 4.3-inch display. So we're really curious about HSPA plus, the kind of speeds we can get. We tend to benchmark phone speeds a lot, so we have a lot of data. Right now it's showing Edge, which is very strange because there's absolutely 3G in this area. Let's kind of move around on the screens a little bit and just talk about what we have. This is the new version of HTC Sense. We saw this on the Desire HD and a lot of other devices. And what this means is that we've got sort of a new way to organize Sense, a new way to personalize Sense. And of course, we've got the My Location thing up there, so you'll see the weather clock. There we go, H+. You know, I want to get right to it and run a speed benchmark because I'm sure you're very curious about what kinds of speeds you can get. So I'm going to download speedtest.net. I'll be right back. All right, and we're back. We're just going to quickly download speedtest.net. It's still using the old version of the Android market, but of course within probably 3 minutes, the new version will be pushed to this device. Downloading, let's go into the settings real quick and take a look at some of the about information. Curious about certain things. I've already got some fingerprints on the screen, so let's go into, down here, about phone, and let's check network. Just want to see what it says. It's very interesting. It says HSDPA, and yet it says H+, implying HSPA. We'll have to look into that. Let's see the software information here. So it says running on Android 2.2.1, unfortunately not Android 2.3, although this device is likely to see an upgrade. It's one of HTC's flagship devices now. They want to make sure that they give enough love where love is due. So let's find the speedtest.net application. You're going to see it run for the first time here. We've got a full signal of HSPA plus here, so we should be really getting the fastest speeds possible. Just for some context, AT&T 3G in this area will max out at about 2.6 megabits per second down and about 1.3 megabits per second up. That's the average of literally hundreds of tests that we've run from this location. Let's see what we get. Drum roll, please. Okay, that is probably not accurate. We're going to let this run, and we're going to run it again. Sometimes speedtest.net does this. It shows a very low speed. As you just saw, it bursted up to 1.5. Yeah, this is definitely not a good representation. Let's run it again. Okay, test again. Very strange here, getting these slow speeds. We're going to have to take this out into the field, and perhaps the device needs some, I don't know, needs some breaking in time or something. Well, we just saw a burst to 3.3 megabits per second down, so maybe something's happening here. And let's do it one more time just for good measure, hoping that it comes through and shows us what it's really capable of with the HSPA Plus. Here we go. No, it's not. So we're going to have to come back and talk more about the speeds. It's one of the, the biggest stories of this device is the HSPA plus speeds, and we're going to come back and talk a lot about that after we benchmark it from different places. Maybe there's something wrong with the cell tower around here. So that is the HTC Inspire 4G. This is a commanding phone. It's very large, but I mean, if you're getting this, you really want a large display, but it's also quite heavy. Simultaneously, it's got a high-quality feel, which I think many will appreciate. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and we'll be back with plenty more on the HTC Inspire 4G. And of course, check out the review coming up in the near future on Pocketnow.com. That's it for now.